Welcome to Section 3, Child Development 101. In this section, we're going to talk about the different stages of development and why it's important for coaches to understand how growth and development may impact a child's sport experience. As children grow, they move through different stages of development. So, if you're coaching a group of 12-year-olds, the typical characteristics we see at this stage of development will look a lot different than if you were coaching 6-year-olds. Being able to understand how development may impact a child's sport experience will equip you with the ability to adjust your style and program plans to suit the needs of the children you coach. We are going to explore some basic characteristics of ages and stages of development throughout childhood, identified by the Coaching Association of Canada. It's important to stress that each and every child is unique, but these will provide a general guideline of what you may typically see and experience at each stage of development. Follow along in your workbook in section 3, where there's a growth and development chart, and also take notes from the coach's checklist of things that you can implement to support children at each stage of development. 6 to 7-year-olds have a lot of energy. They're also learning how to control their bodies and learn best by doing. So try and give step by step instructions to teach a skill and have kids physically do each step as you explain. 6 and 7-year-olds need concise instructions. They find criticism and failure challenging. This is a sensitive age where we want to focus on building confidence and building players up. So focus on the positive things they're doing well and encourage them to keep trying to see progress. 6 to 7-year-olds can be self centered. They're still in that egocentric stage where it's all about them, but they're slowly starting to understand others' perspectives and consider the feelings of others. They're expanding their social circle. So, through school, extracurricular activities, and meeting new friends, their social circle is expanding now more than ever. They play better in pairs than in groups. This allows children to be more engaged and develop relationships more effectively. Here is a coach's checklist of ways that you can support the growth and development of 6 and 7-year-olds. Remember to take notes in your workbook for considerations to try in your program. Practice skills, incorporate fun and movement skills, and focus on mastery. Mix up partners and teams often so that children are getting to know everyone and strengthening team connections. If you overhear a child saying something mean or not sharing or excluding others, take that opportunity to teach some life skills about the importance of respect, fair play, and sharing. Use children's input and choice to creatively adapt games and activities. You'd be surprised with how fun it can be for you and the kids. And keep rules and instructions simple and short. The rule of thumb is a maximum of 3 instructions. Ask for confirmation that they understand or if anyone has any questions. 8 and 9-year-olds enjoy moving and being active. They love physically challenging activities for the most part. 8 and 9-year-olds are curious and they enjoy learning new things. And they may get frustrated if things don't turn out as expected. They may become sensitive and experience self doubt, and they're learning how to be competitive. 8 and 9-year-olds may seek approval from others, and friendships at this stage are very, very important. Here is a coach's checklist of ways you can support the growth and development of 8 and 9-year-olds. Plan high intensity activities with ways to increase the level of challenge for those who want it or need it. Routine continues to be important so that children know what to expect and feel safe to do their best and participate. So establish a routine and stick to it. So maybe you start with a warm up and everyone leads a stretch, followed by a fun game of tag, and then you get into drills and end with a team cheer. Allow children to plan and lead activities. Imagination is still a large driving force for behavior at this age. They like to take on responsibility, make decisions, and feel like they're accomplishing things. Create a culture that values friendships. Many kids participate in sports because their friends do, or they enjoy the social aspect of meeting new people. Allow time for players to chat during water breaks or before practice starts, and celebrate friendships made. Talk about healthy competition. Discuss and determine what this means for your team. For example, we do our best, we try hard, and we practice well. Our focus is on having fun and getting better as a team. It's not about winning at the expense of others or our own happiness. And it's important not to compare skills or physical attributes. Some kids are bigger and stronger, which can make some children feel less than adequate. So, although you may have bigger and stronger children on your team, every player, no matter their size, contributes to your team in some way. And those that may not be as fast or big still have some developing to do. So, focus on team spirit, cooperation, respect, leadership, and other skills and attributes. And finally, celebrate successes, both individual and team progress and mastery. 10 and 11-year-olds experience many physical changes, especially girls. So, this is where you might see marked distinctions between boys and girls in how they're developing physically. Energy levels may vary depending on mood, emotional well being, physical health, and many other factors. 10 and 11-year-olds are learning abstract thinking skills and can understand more complex things, and their attention span is increasing. 10 and 11-year-olds become more concerned with self image and want to be independent and show defiance at times toward coaches and parents. They look for approval from their peers, and social time is very, very important. Here's a coach's checklist of ways that you can support the growth and development of 10 and 11-year-olds. Set clear rules and expectations on day one to identify what behaviors will be supported and those that your team will not condone. For example, excluding others and disrespectful language are not welcome on our team. We want you to treat others fairly, communicate respectfully, and support your teammates. Focus on group activities and practice sessions that will help strengthen connections and team cohesion. Make sure to switch up activities often and switch up groups so that children are working with all teammates. Adapt rules to maximize participation and engagement. Limit standing around and keep kids active and moving through stations to work on a variety of skills. Be specific and concise when giving feedback. The rule of thumb is to focus on one point only and confirm what you want to see the child do or focus on. For example, great job out there. Keep your eye on the ball next time you're up to bat. Give praise often. Kids want to hear when they're doing well, and the more often we praise good behavior, the more clear we are on what behaviors we want to see. And this will support children to practice doing the right thing over and over again. Find teachable moments and take time to debrief from these experiences. Losing isn't fun, but it's important to teach us that we can't always win, but we can choose to have fun and focus on what we did really well. 12 to 15-year-olds experience major growth spurts, which can lead to challenges with coordination, muscle balance, and emotional stability due to an increase in hormones. You may see differences in rates of physical maturation. Children this age enjoy decision making and problem solving and can comprehend more elaborate instructions and complex concepts. Children this age may challenge authority, similar to the previous stage of development. This age really looks up to positive role models, and you are that role model for your team. 12 to 15-year-olds put more importance on competition. And as I mentioned earlier, we can teach children at this age about healthy competition and what that means. Here's a coach's checklist of how you can support the growth and development of 12 to 15-year-olds. Be sensitive to emotions and role model open communication. Do check-ins with each player to assess mood and energy levels. Be aware of your actions and words, because kids at this age and stage are looking to you to role model appropriate and positive behavior. Create a culture of respect and inclusion. Talk about why it's important to show respect and create an inclusive team where everyone can be themselves. Talk about what behaviors specifically support this. Empower children to solve their own problems. So instead of swooping in and solving every issue that comes up, ask children to talk through what's happening, take responsibility for their actions, and make a plan on how they'll move forward cooperatively. Allow time for questions and discussion after practice sessions and games. This will create open and honest communication, provide an opportunity to debrief situations and what to focus on. Create team values related to fair play and work ethic. We're helping shape young people to gain transferable life skills in order to be successful in all areas of life as they grow. Team values are important to highlight positive ways of behaving and what's important. So, for example, strong work ethic and being a good sport versus winning. It's important to consider puberty and the physical changes that come with this stage of development. This is a critical time in development where children entering puberty will experience changes to emotional, physical, cognitive, and social behaviors. Early and late developers are likely to experience challenges related to psychosocial maturity, so feeling ostracized for developing too quickly or too slowly compared to their peers. Males who develop early often have more success in sport because their growth and strength can fast track their coordination and mastery of skill development. Males who aren't growing at such a rate could feel less than adequate and start to lose confidence in their abilities. Females who develop early can fall behind in performance and possibly drop out of sport because rapid body changes can cause girls to be self conscious and lower self esteem, which can impede performance. Finally, during puberty, performance often plateaus or may even decline, and this is normal. We can't stress this enough. With all of the changes taking place and the level of hormones running through the body, athletes may see an impact to their performance. So try to be supportive through this stage of development. Here's a coach's checklist on how to support the growth and development of those children entering puberty. As we've mentioned previously, do check ins with each player to assess mood and energy levels. Have players set individual goals for the season, and this will keep them focused on their own progress versus comparing their success to what their peers are doing. Keep the focus on fun, strengthen teamwork, and set aside time for social interaction between the players. Focus on how each player contributes to the team and avoid physical comparisons. Celebrate leadership, sharing, respectful conduct, and other positive behaviors and contributions to team success. Be strategic when assigning pairs or teams. If dividing into teams, do your best to ensure teams have a balance of strength, speed, and skill. If pairing up youth, you can either pair up based on similar strength and skill to provide a challenge, or pair up with different strengths so that children can mentor and teach each other. As coaches, it's important to understand that a child's chronological age, that is, how many years the child's been alive, can be different from their developmental stage. For example, you may find that a 10-year-old is showing typical physical development and mastery of certain sport specific skills, but may be learning and developing social skills that are more characteristic of an 8-year-old. When you plan and lead sport programs, meet children where they are developmentally to ensure they have the greatest opportunity for success. When you go to plan and prepare for your next season or practice session, come back to this growth and development chart outlining the typical characteristics shown across childhood. One thing is common across each stage of development. Focus on keeping kids active and engaged during each session, as well as helping children feel success and a sense of mastery. That is the secret to fostering positive child development. You've now completed Section 3, Child Development 101. Before you move on, take some time to answer the Coach's Corner question in your workbook and check out the FunTeam Resources section to learn some great coaching tips centered around the growth and development of children.